Hello modelers. In part 1, we made our data ready for a multiple species distribution model, and now let's get into designing our experiment in EcoCommons BCCVL workflow. Once you're logged in to EcoCommons, you can see Workspace tab. Underneath Workspace, we can see a Running Analysis option. We'll choose it. And we have an option for modeling visits. Under the modeling visits, we can see BCCVL as an option. We'll choose it. And we have quite a number of experiments available and ready to go. Underneath primary experiments, we can see multiple species distribution model. I'm going to choose that. For the title, I'm just going to put model overview. And for description, I'm just going to copy my notes and paste it over here. You can use description as a handy information area where you can recall like what was the experiment was about when you're doing too many experiments. For the occurrence, we have combined 3 individual data records of our species as one CSV file, and we have uploaded the CSV into EcoCommons Data Explorer. For the absences, we are using pseudo absence and we'll set the disk for 100 to 10,000 meters. For the climate and environment option, we are selecting some of the data for our simulating climate, Southeast Australian current climate data. For vegetation communities which are surrounding our species, I'm taking vegetation asset states in transition, called as VAST. One of the species has niche only in higher elevation, so I'm just going to have an elevation model running with it too. And I'm curious about the soil classification in those areas, so I'm going to choose soil and landscape grid for national soil attribute maps. All of these datasets are available in our curated data collection, which you can directly import from this workflow. For this study area or extent, I'm going to draw our area around our desired study zone, which will be Southeast Queensland and Northern New South Wales. For the algorithm, I'm going to go for maxent. You can also choose multiple and can have comparison later for precise output. So let's get started with it. I'm going to go to Occurrence tab, and here I'm going to select my multiple species regimen, which has all the 3 species merged. You can see all the fields are ready here. I'll select all 3, try to visualize it, and I'm supposed to see some of the records over this area. Yeah, as you can see, we have some outliners here, but I'm interested in this specific area. So when we'll choose an area, I'll draw a polygon around it. Moving on, I'll go to absences. And for absences, I will choose disk and put the records for 100 to 10,000 meter, which will give me enough area. Moving on to climate and environment data, and I'm going to select my all 4 options. So I'm going to select, just going to copy paste from my notes because that will be faster. So we have Southeast current climate, gonna select that one. I have vast. I have DEM. I have another one which is soil classification. And I'm gonna go for classification map, which seems alright. Just select these, and I'm just gonna close this window. Now here, for current climate, I would like to get some information there so I can calculate my individual rasters. So I'll do annual mean temperature, so you can also visualize each of them. Something pretty. Yep. And I'm gonna get some annual precipitation, which is good. Need some annual range, how it behaves, and gonna get some seasonality. Moving on to our vast, I'm just gonna get all the classification, which is all around Australia, and I want 3 seconds. That's good. And I'm just going with the classification map, which you guys can visualize pretty much all of them, which will help us to make sure like we're getting the right data in. Soil is a big layer, so it's gonna take a few seconds. I'm just gonna get ahead with study area. So as a default, it is set to have a convex hull, but I'm just interested in the area in southeast Queensland and northern New South Wales, so I'm just gonna draw an extent on map, which will be as start drawing. Just gonna pick sites here. Probably just gonna get this area, and that's about it. So we're ready to hit for the next one, and we have algorithms. And for now, I'm just gonna go for accent, but yeah, we have other 17 algorithm option. You can choose any of those, which you prefer, and that's about it. So we have our description ready, our occurrences, our absence, our climate data, our study area, algorithms, and we hit run. Let's submit the job. And you'll be redirected to the status page. And there you go. Thank you for listening.